One of the biggest mistakes business owners make is having an extremely complicated marketing and sales process when they're just not there to be able to implement it all, do it all, and get every part of that funnel and channel optimized and actually doing what it should be doing. So to give you a quick overview of how we change this for a particular client. Firstly, when I start with looking at a business, I always start from the back and work forward. So it's like, how many sales are we getting each month? Is that consistent? Then we move back. How many sales calls have actually attended? How many were booked? How many leads did we generate? And where did those leads come from? So if we start from the top end of the funnel, once we've done that, we look at, okay, which channels are we at? What are we actually trying to achieve in terms of our marketing at the moment? And what's bringing us the results? And a part of this is, what are we doing for long-term branding? And let's do one thing there that's going to help us to brand our business long-term. And then what are we doing to generate leads and sales now? We need to do one of both. So with this particular client, they were creating a lot of posts. They were doing posts both within Facebook and LinkedIn. They were boosting posts. They were running LinkedIn ads. They were doing a little bit of reach out through LinkedIn. They had a cold calling strategy in place, and they had Google AdWords cranking. So where I started with this was looking at, okay, so what's actually generating the leads at the moment? And when I look at that, I look at, okay, what's our cost of acquisition? And who is our target market and where do they hang out? Let's start with that. So who is their target market and where do they hang out? So when I broke this down, I looked at basically there's two platforms that we can get directly to our target market, and that is LinkedIn and cold calling. Now, so as a result of that, we completely ditched Meta ads, posting there. We just left that as a platform completely. Google Ads was producing clicks, but I hadn't invested in their website, the landing pages, and they had one conversion out of $1,000 spend for the month. So that's $1,000 lead that ultimately didn't end up being anything anyway. So we turned off AdWords. Went, right, okay, so we know that they're on LinkedIn and we know that we can get to them via cold calling. Now, LinkedIn is a bit of a funny platform. So LinkedIn ads, haven't seen anyone or talked to anyone that's reliably used this as a lead generation tool. I'm sure there are, but I still feel like the platform is not quite where it needs to be at the moment. So the way to approach LinkedIn is through an organic strategy, and then we also connecting and trying to generate interest, but then also doing the cold calling. So we eliminated that, invested all the marketing dollars and time and effort that they were doing into those two channels, and we essentially doubled the lead flow. It was a little bit over double. They were bringing in around 15 leads a month. We went up to 32 leads a month in the first month that we actually implemented that, and it's still growing as we speak. So that meant all of our energy was just going into posting a couple of times on LinkedIn, connecting with some people there, but then more effort into cold calling, and that's the result. Now, as a result of that, we could then focus on how can we improve, once we've got our lead, how can we improve the rest of that? i.e., how can we make sure that we're getting our leads to our sales call and then ultimately converting those better? And that's where we focused our attention for months 2 and 3. And those sales have gone from a conversion rate of just over 10%. Now it's up to 24.2%. That has gone up double as well. So the end result here is not just a doubling of leads, but it's actually a quadrupling of the end result, i.e. number of clients that we are converting into their delivery system now. So that's a huge result, and it's a huge learning that ultimately, if we can focus on simplifying a strategy, fixing the holes in that strategy, and then just implementing it on a consistent basis, that's going to produce a better result than scattergun approach.